Okay, I'm going to make a goulash. Now, is it Hungarian? Is it Polish? No, it's just whatever. There are hard rules for making a Polish and a Hungarian goulash, but this is an Australian goulash, so just going to start off the little burner. Sort of medium, nothing too high. Probably about a tablespoon of oil, because all we're going to put in there at first is just some onions, a little bit of garlic. Have to wait about 30 seconds to heat up. Let's get the garlic ready. The onions. Come on, sizzle, 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 sizzle. Oh, we're getting there. Alright, this is just one onion chopped up coarsely, nothing really special. A little bit of sizzle, that's what you want to hear. Probably about a teaspoon and a bit garlic. Just stir them around. Oh, I love that noise. Looking good. Oops, bit of onion side escape. Now these are going to cook along with the meat probably about an hour, hour and a half. I want the meat to be tender. The meat I'm putting in, make sure that's in shot, that's just offcuts of steak. Basically it's just like you could buy cube steak if you want, but these are just offcuts of steak. A little bit of fat on it. It doesn't really matter, not much fat, but a little bit. Again, there's a nice bit of a stir. Already starting to soften up, which is good. Cook after. I'm just going to put all that meat in there. Seems like a lot, but it's not. Let's stir that up. No liquid in there at the moment, but I'm not panicking. It's the main ingredient that I do with the goulash. Probably about, well, I don't normally measure, but that's a dessert spoon. It's probably about 2 of those. This is just some dried chives. So much. A little bit parsley dried. Now this is cracked black pepper. Anyone knows my cooking, I love pepper. Probably about 2 teaspoons of pepper going in there. Now, good old Worcestershire sauce. Not much left in this, there's probably about a tablespoon and a half. Probably have to go and get a bit more and add to it. Put that, that's the only bit of liquid going in at the moment. Yes, I'm not panicking, I'm not stirring it yet, there's no drama. Now these are dried shallots, absolutely beautiful. So a small handful, I suppose you call that, dried shallots, even though there's onions in there. These are they're caramelised when they're deep fried and they're crispy at the moment, but they'll all amalgamate into the actual stew cum goulash. Put a bit of a stir now. Sure you can get a little bit of a basting with the oil. Cook through a little bit. Again, at the moment, no liquid. There's plenty of liquid in the meat. And when it comes down to other things, the only other thing I put in the goulash for me is just potato. This is just 2 medium potatoes cut up. And I don't add any salt at the moment. For me, salt is to taste as you're cooking. If you think it needs salt later, do it. It's about a cup of water. That's all that's going in there at the moment. We need this to come to a little bit of a, a bit of a boil, I suppose you call it. You can see that the water is just below the line of the meat and the vegetable, and there's nothing to panic because there's plenty of moisture coming out of both the potato and the meat. So I'm going to give that probably about 20 minutes and just let it start to sizzle through. You can probably see a little bit of a boil coming through. As soon as it gets up to boiling quite strongly, I'll just turn it down to a simmer. And this is going to take probably about 80, 90, maybe even 100 minutes. When it's done is when it's ready, otherwise when the meat's nice and tender. So I'll just put the lid on this and we'll leave it for 20 minutes and we'll come back. Okay, if you can see what's happening in just that 1 cup of water. Well, use as much water as you need just to get that water near the surface when it's raw, like with the potatoes and the onions and the meat. You can see it's drawn some more moisture out of the meat, and it will do with the potatoes as time goes by. And I've turned it down now just to a little simmer. As you can see, it's just simmering over. Now I'll come and check on this every 15-20 minutes, give it a bit of a stir, and in probably about an hour, hour and a half's time we'll be pretty close to finish. So we'll let it do its job and we'll come back and see the product near the end. Okay, it's been about an hour I think since I started. You can see there's still not a lot of moisture in there, but because it's on really low, let me just show you the flame underneath. You probably can't even see it. I mean, it is that low. It's just simmering. So at this stage, it's cooked, but we need it to, it's pretty tender, but I'm going to give it about another half an hour. Just going to give it a little bit of a taste. It's not too bad. If you've ever used paprika before, well, this is not hot paprika I put in there. It's a little bitter, so you can cheat a little bit. You can add sugar if you want, but here's the good old tomato ketchup. It's probably about a tablespoon, and I'm just going to add a little bit more Worcestershire. And one of the little additives I use in all my stews is a thing called HP sauce. I've just got to take the lid off. There's a new bottle. Okay. There we go. HP sauce. Not much, probably about half a tablespoon. Less probably, a couple of teaspoons. So I've already tasted it, and all I've done is add a few other flavours into it. And as I say, this is basically just simmering on very low. And what I'm going to do with this when we're finished is have it with some pasta. And I'm going to add some sour cream at the end. So basically, as you can see, there's very little moisture on top. It's just simmering under that little bit of heat. So something like this is a rigatoni. Just boil that up and have that with the what I call goulash. Thing about foods and their names, you can vary anything you like. You don't have to follow what I did. You can do what you want to do. You can keep it traditional, but you can add things too. Like there's nothing wrong with me, if I had them, I haven't got any, with some nice chorizo sausage. I chop it up, really thin and just throw that in as well. And the exciting news today, we started to get a bit of rain. It's been 4 months, so looking forward to it pouring down tonight, hopefully. All right, well that is the that's my version of a paprika stew, if you like, if you don't want to call it anything else. It's delicious. It'll be tender, and like I say, that with a bit of pasta makes a good meal for about 4 people. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.